Numinus Health, which is our clinical infrastructure, doing traditional mental health services, as well as ketamine-assisted psychotherapy. And now looking to 2022 is really next year being about implementing and integrating MDMA and psilocybin-assisted therapy, which MDMA is expected to be legal for therapy in 2023. So it's really getting the foundation in place to be ready for that.
Payton Nyquvest joins us now, CEO of Numinus Wellness Inc, trading now on the TSX under the symbol NUMI. Payton, welcome back.
Thanks for having me.
Payton, we were talking to you earlier this year, and things were rolling along quite well for Numinus. Tell us what's happened since we saw you last.
Yeah, it's been a busy period for us. As you said at the beginning, we've uplisted to the TSX from the TSX Venture, which we're very excited and grateful about. Obviously, being on the premier exchange in Canada is validating not only for us but for the industry as well, as it's an emerging industry. And looking forward to 2022, sort of along with our pathway towards further more senior U.S. uplistings as well. And then really on the business side, it's been very busy. We've integrated a couple of acquisitions, including the Neurology Centre of Toronto, and continue to advance some of our research initiatives with MDMA and psilocybin.
You bet. Okay, so then now, what's sort of the pathway to profitability for the company at this point?
Yeah, so for us, twofold, and sort of the business model that we've created, diversified in sort of Numinus Health, which is our clinical infrastructure, doing traditional mental health services, as well as ketamine-assisted psychotherapy. And now looking to 2022 is really next year being about implementing and integrating MDMA and psilocybin-assisted therapy, which MDMA is expected to be legal for therapy in 2023. So it's really getting the foundation in place to be ready for that. For 2023. So for us, continuing to generate revenue from Numinus Health while integrating also some of these psychedelic programs. And then on the Numinus Bioscience side of things, continuing to generate revenue from analytical testing and services while also moving forward our psilocybin extraction, which you're seeing a really interesting regulatory environment in Canada in particular at the moment around psilocybin, which may allow for us to start to have psilocybin-based products in market for sale next year as well. So you're seeing a couple really interesting catalysts around not only the psychedelic therapy side of things, but also the starting to be able to find a market for the actual drug itself outside of research.
Yeah, you bet. Can you talk about any sort of, just without obviously revealing private information, can you give us a sort of description of like what's the experience like for a patient who's coming to Numinus for a treatment, say a ketamine treatment? Like what is the circumstances that drives them there? How do they get into the intake program, and how does the whole experience go for them?
Yeah, and I think this is one of the bigger pieces for people to really understand around psychedelic therapy is you need to think of it as like an intervention. What psychedelics are showing is they have the potential for curative intent. And that's a big mindset shift for people in regards to mental health. Traditionally we've diagnosed someone as depressed and we put you on an antidepressant and you see your therapist potentially for the rest of your life. And this is something that you manage. With psychedelics, we believe that we can cure a number of these mental health issues, really sort of highlighted by the MAPS phase 3 results, which showed over 67% of people saw an actual cure of their treatment-resistant post-traumatic stress disorder. So what that sort of looks like in regards to the treatment is usually it's about 3 treatments. I'll use MDMA as an example. So there's an intake process. We identify what the indication is that you're challenged with. Usually you get referred to us from a referring GP. We then intake you, we do some prep work, and then usually 3 dosing sessions. So a dosing session is sort of an all-day, 4 to 6 hour therapy with, again, I'll use MDMA as the example, with MDMA, and there's 3 treatments of that. You go through a dosing session, and then there's some integration work, which is just one-on-one work with your therapist, and then into another dosing session, usually a week or 2 weeks later, and then subsequent. And within potentially 3 months, you're looking at again, potentially a cure for some of these things that we've always believed that are things that just need symptom management for the rest of your life.
Sure. So when you say a cure, you're saying that after treatment, somebody with treatment-resistant post-traumatic stress disorder is responding with saying, okay, I don't have these demons, these issues, this depression, this obsessive thought pattern, whatever the nature of their PTSD happens to be. They just don't need that anymore, and they don't need the program anymore because it's work in final.
Exactly. And that's, so again, the MAPS phase 3 work, 67% of people no longer met the PTSD criteria after 3 treatments. So that's a cure.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
That's great. Well, that's really intriguing. I can't say enough about how much I love the fact that psychedelics, which I would say that I've always had a suspicion were very effective at treating mental disorders, and I like to think of it as what has prevented me from ever having one beyond the normal obsessive compulsive human nature. But so then, is it difficult for people to get involved? So you go to a GP. I know people who are suffering from different types of mental illness, and I kind of feel like I'm in a position to recommend that they ask their GP about this particular approach to treatment. Is it something that every GP in Canada at this point or in the United States is going to know about and be able to say, oh, yes, actually, it's showing great promise. If you'd like to try it, I can get you involved, or we can do some more work to figure out if it's right for you. Is it currently available to everyone is the point I'm trying to make.
So that's part of the work at the moment is working with the healthcare providers to get them in education. At the moment, right now, ketamine-assisted psychotherapy is the only legal, outside of a research context, psychedelic that's being used for treatment, which has been shown to be really effective in the treatment of depression. MDMA and psilocybin, as I mentioned, MDMA is expected to be legal in 2023, psilocybin potentially shortly after that. One of the things that's really interesting in Canada at the moment, though, is a year ago, Health Canada posted their intention to change what's called the Special Access Drug Program. The Special Access Drug Program is a program in Canada that allows for unlimited amount of Canadians to get access to drugs or therapies that have shown significant benefit before they finish going through the clinical trial process. Now, that change with psychedelics, in particular MDMA and psilocybin, is anticipated to come through before the end of this year. So could potentially be any day now. And what that would allow for is, as I mentioned, an unlimited amount of Canadians to get referred to the Special Access Drug Program to get access to MDMA or psilocybin therapy. Now, a lot of people draw parallels to like the Section 56 exemptions that have been issued from Health Canada, which is a bit of a slower process. The thing that people need to understand with the Special Access Drug Program is that Health Canada has to respond within 48 hours. So it is fast. It's certainly not, end state, but we could see next year in Canada, again, unlimited amounts of Canadians getting potential access to these therapies. So it is very much right around the corner. And while a lot of the focus has been on treating specific indications, where Numinus has also been focusing is, where does this fit as a standard of care within the healthcare system? One of the reasons why psychedelics here is, as you mentioned, we've got this massive burden on the healthcare system at the moment in regards to all these mental health issues, and we need to alleviate that burden. And that's where we think psychedelics can play a really pivotal role.
Sure. What made you move to the TSX from the NEO?
So we actually always were on the TSX Venture Exchange. We never were on the NEO, and that was pretty intentional for us to go on the TSX. Obviously,
sure.
In an industry that is got some stigma attached to it. There's a lot of conversation around psychedelics as a treatment modality, and we really wanted to make sure that similarly from a capital market side of things, moving forward with a high integrity exchange that's really adding legitimacy to not only us, but the space in general.
Yeah, you bet. All right, Payton, we're going to leave it there for now. I really appreciate your time and the update, and I look forward to talking to you again in the future. Thanks for your time.
Likewise. Happy holidays.
Thanks. Same to you. Bye for now.